For the following exercise, use the graph of the function to estimate the intervals on which the function is increasing or decreasing. All right. So first thing is we have to understand the terms increasing and decreasing. And these terms I know you understand already, right? Increasing basically means that something's going up. In other words, you're going to start low with something and end high. Think about a bank account. Start with a little money, end with a lot of money. Your bank account increased. Right? Similarly with the term decreasing, right? That means coming down, aka you started with a lot and you ended with a little. Okay? So now what we need to do is apply this terminology to the graph. And how we do this first is by first identifying any maxima or minima, local max and local min that is. Don't worry about the terminology, we'll cover it later, in the problem. Basically, in other words, find the top or bottom of any hills that you see. So it looks like I have a hill right here and another hill over here. So they both have a top to them. Now this top here, it looks like to me that it lies just a little bit to the left of x is 1. But I'm going to just assume it's exactly at 1 because it's too close for me to tell. I mean, maybe it's 0.9, I don't know. And the other top of the hill here, it looks like to me it's existing right about 4. Okay? All right. So now what I do after I label the tops and or bottoms of any hills that I see, I draw a vertical line. Okay? Now what this helps me do is it helps break the graph up into the important parts. All right. We have the addition, though, of one vertical line here that we didn't draw in that was given to us, but this vertical line represents the asymptote. And what that means is the graph here that I'm outlining, never actually reaches this line. It never touches it, meaning it doesn't include the x value of, I don't know, it looks like 2.9 to me. It lies a little bit to the left of the 3. Okay. So what this helps do, and we have 3 vertical lines, is it helps break the problem up, as I was mentioning, into the important parts. Now, if we have 3 vertical lines, there are going to be 4 parts that we have to analyze. One part that lies to the left of the first vertical line, the second part that lies in between the first and the second vertical line, the third part that lies in between the second and third vertical line, and then the fourth part lies to the right of the third vertical line. So I'm going to analyze each part individually. Now, all we have to do is we have to read then the graphs for each of these individual sections, starting on the left-hand side of that section and ending on the right-hand side. Okay? So if we take a look at section number 1 over here of the graph, it's just this little piece right here. And I'm going to put a little star at the beginning. I'm going to put a star at the end, right? We read these graphs from left to right. If you started low and you ended high, sounds like this part of the graph increased, right? So I'm going to put a little I over here. And what I'll do then, I will list that increasing section. So increased over this interval, it looks like the graph would have continued all the way on out to negative infinity in that x direction. Remember, we're labeling the x values when we're talking about intervals. So it goes from negative infinity all the way up until about where x is equal to 1. Now, it actually doesn't include 1 because, this point of 1 can kind of be, you can consider both the increasing part here and then what's going to be, as we'll find in a second, the decreasing part. So we don't actually include it. Meaning we don't put the bracket. We leave the parenthesis there. So that takes care of that part. Let's look at the second little interval here. So again, reading this second interval, which lies between these 2 vertical lines, we start on the leftmost handed side, which is here, and then we end on the rightmost handed side. Now it appears to me that we're starting high and ending low, so this part should be decreasing. So I'll put a little d there. So what's the interval? Well, we already said that this is about 1, so it's going to go from 1 all the way up until now. It goes all the way down forever, but it will never ever reach this value here, the x value of, it looks like about 2.9 to me. You can write 3, I don't care, but I'm going to put about 2.9. It definitely is clearly not at 3, but whatever. Now what we're going to do is we're going to identify now the third interval of the problem. And now that third interval lies in between these 2 vertical lines. Okay, so we're going to go all the way, we're going to read it from left to right, all the way to the bottom here, That's the leftmost handed side. This is now the rightmost handed side of that interval. Starting low, ending high. Sounds like it's increasing to me, right? So I'm going to add it now to my increasing interval over here by adding a little union, adding a little U there, all right? Now, what's the interval? Again, it's beginning basically right around 2.9, not inclusive, and it goes all the way to about x is equal to 4. But we're not going to include it, right? For reasons we just discussed. Last but not least, we have the fourth interval now, right? That we have to identify. Again, reading this interval, this part of the graph, starting at the left, going all the way to the right. We're starting high, we're ending low. It sounds like it's decreasing to me. So therefore, I'm going to add a little union over here, little u, and all we have to now do is label the x values of it. So it appears that it's starting at about 4, and it's going all the way on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever to all eternity, all the way to x is infinity. Obviously not inclusive. So these would be the increasing and decreasing values. I realize I just put a little d, but this stands for decreasing. All right. And these would then indeed be the answers. All right, so hopefully this made sense. It's really not hard. You just have to break the graph up into those intervals and then start on the left-hand side of that interval, go to the right, and see if it goes up or down, right? If it starts low and ends high, you know what that is. If it starts high and ends low, you know what that is. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it very much. If this video helped you out at all, please give us a hand by hitting the subscribe button and telling your friends. All right, that would actually be the best. And you know what? It's free to tell your friends, and it's free to watch the videos. Can't get any better than that. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Take care.